Today we're showing you around one of the most picturesque corners in all of Austria, the Alpbachtal Valley located in Tyrol. This was our first time visiting Austria, and I don't think we could have chosen a better place to start. While we only had 3 days in this region, we managed to pack lots of time in the mountains, sample the local cuisine, and befriend more than one cow along the way. The following is our mini travel guide to Alpbachtal. So these are the views from our chalet. Isn't it amazing?
It's amazing. It's such a small, cozy little place. It's just
yeah.
a few rooms. So we'll give you a quick little tour.
And we're actually sharing the place with a few travel blogger friends.
Yeah. So come on in.
This is our room.
This is the room.
Are you gonna wear shades indoors and be all cool?
Yeah, I'll be all cool. So yeah, here's the bed.
So cozy.
And yeah, everything's made out of wood. It's like a
it's
like a log cabin.
Really, it really is.
And then look over here.
We have a spare bed. Maybe this will be our sofa.
We'll probably just throw all of our belongings there.
After getting settled into our farmhouse, it was time for lunch, and boy, were we hungry. We drove to Brandenberg, where we ate at Kaiserhaus, a restaurant and guest house tucked out in nature. What makes this place so special is that it was once a favorite holiday spot for Emperor Franz Josef and Empress Sisi. So we've just arrived at this beautiful little restaurant called Kaiserhaus, right at the foot of the mountains, and we're going to be sampling some Austrian food.
Everything on the menu was very hearty and filling with lots of gamey meats and noodle dishes.
Okay, you can see the cheese stretching.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Look at all that cheese. That looks so good.
So we just finished having a wonderful meal. I ordered spätzle, which is like a tiny little noodle, maybe the size of like my thumbnail, and it was so cheesy.
It was so cheesy and so good. Like when you would take a bite, like the cheese
You'd
would
have these
stretch
long
right out.
strings. Oh my gosh, so good. And what did you get?
And I had deer, also with a little bit of spatula, but that didn't have cheese with it. But the deer was really good. It came with like gravy, and it just had like a really rich taste. It was really tasty.
And you know what's happening next? We're gonna have some cake, but first we're gonna learn how it's made.
Exactly.
Let's go. So we just finished watching a Pruegeltorte demonstration, and it's a cool cake that's cooked on a cylinder. Now it's time to try it. The cake is ready. Finally time to try the Pruegeltorte. So yeah, the guy was just like layering the dough and then spinning that cylinder until it cooked. So you can kind of make out the layers here. They're covered in icing sugar.
It's really thick.
And I love how they've filled it with, looks like whipped cream and some kind of berry sauce. OMG. How does this work? First time sampling this cake. Let's just break a chunk. Grab some of this.
Is that good?
That is very tasty. And remember how I mentioned that the Emperor and Empress used to vacation here? Well, after dessert, we visited their old room in the guest house, which was surprisingly humble.
So now it's time for a little walk in the woods. We've had a lot of food and dessert. And my gosh, do we need to burn off those calories.
Oh, them bellies.
Them bellies.
Be stuffed.
This was a really nice walk that followed the course of the river and took us over a series of bridges and tunnels. We enjoyed the scenery and also worked off some of that lunch. Our only tip, wear sturdy hiking shoes as the path can be wet and slippery.
So here we are, a walk through the woods in true Bill Bryson style.
Exactly. Bumbling through the woods.
Yes.
Like we don't really know what we're doing.
Actually, not so much the woods. We're walking along a gorge, to be precise. And that was it for our first day in the Alpbachtal Valley. After that, we returned back to our town where we had some hearty Tyrolean food and listened to a bit of live music. Well, good morning from our cozy little farmhouse here in Alpbachtal.
Good morning.
How did you sleep?
I slept pretty well. I slept through the night. I did wake up early, like 5 in the morning. I'm just slathering on the sunscreen because it is going to be a sunny day.
Yeah, and today we're going e-biking, which should be a lot of fun.
Never tried this.
E-biking. Yeah, for both of us.
Very first time to try it.
On day 2, we lucked out with clear blue skies, so after having breakfast in our farmhouse, we drove to the town of Alpbach. Here we got a quick e-biking lesson and set off to tackle the Alps in style. Alright, so we are ready for today's activity. We're going riding on e-bikes, and this is actually my first time on one of these. It sounded a little complicated at first, but basically it gives you a nice little push when you're biking uphill.
Yeah, let's show that menu there.
Yeah, so you can set your speed.
Basically, yeah, it gives you that extra like oomph to get up the hill.
Allow me to demonstrate.
So it's been really fun so far. The electric boost has really helped, like seriously. There have been some hills that I probably wouldn't have enjoyed going up just on my own. So this electric bike has allowed us to explore some really cool areas so far. It wasn't long before we left the town behind and found ourselves in the middle of nature. We rode up valleys, over streams, through forests, and tackled some pretty steep inclines along the way. And so we've stopped again and found a nice natural place to replenish our water. Look at that. Fresh mountain water. Doesn't get any better.
OMG, we have arrived. We have reached the top of the mountain. That was hard work. I feel like it was 95% steep inclines. I mean, the e-bike helps, but it's still exhausting.
We'll put it this way, if we didn't have an e-bike, we wouldn't have made it here in the first place. But it was definitely some serious exercise. Yeah. And the last part was the trickiest, which means after we're done lunch, going down will be a lot easier. Yeah. But okay, we've heard it's a 22-kilometer outing. Yeah. So I'm not sure how much we've covered. I think we still have a ways to go. But right now we're gonna eat lunch. And yeah, I mean, the scenery is beautiful. I can't really complain because check that out. It's stunning. Snow-capped mountains. Yeah, and we're sure hungry too. Yeah, let's go order food. Chow time. Let's go. So we've earned our lunch. What are we having? We sure have. So I've ordered the Tiroler Specknödel, which is basically a giant dumpling. Look at the size of that. And when we say giant, we're not kidding. Like that thing is like the size of my fist. That thing is huge. And it comes in a soup, in a clear broth. So let's try this. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how that's gonna taste. Never tried anything like that. Good? And it's kind of like bready with pieces of bacon inside. Okay. That's pretty good. And what's the broth like? I would venture a guess and say it's beef. Beef broth, okay. Alright, so I ordered some giant sausages. You sure did. I can't remember the name, to be honest. But that's probably the length of your arm. Look at that. Right to my elbow, almost the end of my fingertips. So yeah, apparently there's two kinds. One of them is spicy, and I'll remember the name afterwards, I'm sure. I'll let you guys know what it is. But for now, let's try it with the mustard. Just gonna pick it up. Caveman style. Dunk it in. Oh man. That's really nice. And that mustard has a bit of a kick to it. It's a little bit spicy. I like how you're eating it like jerky. Yeah, I'm just picking it up. Why not? Too tired to use my cutlery right now.
After dropping off our bikes, we then drove to the nearby village of Kramsach, where we stopped for, you guessed it, more food. We were famished after all that biking, and we didn't hold back. We plopped ourselves down at Rohrerhof, where we proceeded to order cappuccinos, massive dessert platters, and schnapps. Trying my first apricot schnapps. Here we go. Once we had eaten again, we were ready to focus on our next attraction, the Tyrolean Farmhouse Museum, where Sam got schooled on how farmhouses work. Less parties, more work. So let's pretend it's 1675. That's the year this house dates to.
Yeah.
How would you have enjoyed living in here?
Well, look at the size of this behemoth. I think
It's
I
massive.
would have enjoyed the size, that's for sure. It would have been great for entertaining. Entertaining.
Entertaining?
Maybe if I had 10 babies or something.
You would have been working the farm.
There you go. Well, we would probably needed all the space then, but it's quite an impressive architecture though.
Yeah. All right, lead us in. Let's go have a grand tour. I love that you're thinking about entertaining.
Yeah.
So this is the house Sam would have entertained in.
Yeah,
Entertained your cows?
Apparently not, because look, here's the tool shed.
Maybe you would have picked up some carpentry as a hobby.
Yeah, but over here, could have entertained.
All right. Good morning, good morning. It is day 3 and we're getting started early.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be riding the ski lift here in Alpbachtal to the very top of the mountain. We should be able to get some beautiful views. Apparently there's already snow up there.
Yeah, we were shown a live feed yesterday and there's already quite a bit of snow, so we actually have layers to put on as we get up to the top.
Mm-hmm. It is so bright, but we are in the little gondola. We're going up the hill. There's actually a whole bunch of cows in the pastures right below, and we can hear their little bells.
Ding,
So
ding, 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 ding.
It's kind of peaceful, actually, hearing the little cow bells. There's goats.
It makes us less aware that we're high up in the air.
Yeah. And you get some beautiful views of the town off in the distance, right behind me. Look at that.
After a leisurely walk and enjoying the impressive views, something else caught our attention. A mountaintop restaurant with an outdoor terrace. We already had lunch plans, so we couldn't really linger here, but that didn't stop us from grabbing a mid-morning coffee al fresco. Alright, it's time for a coffee break. And I have to say, it was a lot warmer today than we expected. Like, we brought a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
I probably could have walked around in my t-shirt, to be honest.
I know, we've got snow, but it's really warm. The sun's out and you feel it.
The sun's very intense up here.
So the sun came out and here we are on top of the mountain, short sleeves, snow everywhere, enjoying a coffee.
I know,
So cool.
it's quite the contrast. If the sun was somehow blocked behind the clouds, there's
We'd
no
be
way.
freezing.
There's no way we'd be wearing short
Yeah.
sleeves.
So we've just had some lunch and the main event is about to begin. You can probably already hear the music in the background. But basically, we're in the town of Reith im Alpbachtal, And every year at the end of September, they have this huge celebration where the cows return from the pastures and they parade through the town, and they're all decorated with like these flower crowns. And yeah, it's a huge event. There's like thousands of people in the town right now, and this festival is called Almatrieb. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's go see some cows.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. And they just keep coming and coming in waves, so I think we're gonna see a whole lot more.
Yeah, don't they look so pretty? They're all dressed up with their flower crowns. It's awesome.
Beautiful, and just the ding dong of the it's pretty fabulous, I have to say.
By noon, the festivities were in full swing, but it wasn't all about the cows. There were also craft demonstrations, food stalls, and lots of bands playing for jovial crowds who created their own dance floors.
And that pretty much sums up our trip to Alpbachtal Valley in Tyrol. Cows, mountains, and a whole bunch of delicious food. We hope you really enjoyed following along, and we'll see you in Vienna for our next video.